one of the new archetypes from the next deck building pack. I believe the name is Phantom Revengers, PR. And I have not yet looked at these, but you know, with recent deck building packs bringing some very, very good archetypes, the hopes are obviously high for Hecaton Shear. So let's go ahead and take a look. Let me just quick scroll. This is the Fusion archetype. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Because I know one of them is Flip, one of them is Fusion, and I think the other one was Exceed or Synchro. I think Synchro. But this is the Fusion one. So let's go ahead and look at Hecaton Shear. Ebel is the first one we've got. Level 6 Light Illusion Effect Monster, 1600 attack, 21 defense. You can only use the first and third effect once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, shuffle it into the deck, then special summon a Hecaton Shear monster from your deck in defense position except Ebel. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed. Okay, they are illusions, so they get the illusion treatment. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Hecaton Shear in your grave, except Ebel, special summon it. Okay, we start with, I feel like, a pretty high quality card here. It is it's basically an emergency teleport for the archetype, but also with bonus effects, you know? Like we got the, if this card's sent to the grave, you can revive one, and it's emergency teleport. I feel like that is all around a very good card. To start things off with. I feel like any archetype would love to have a card like that, so that is a strong start to the reveals. Sure, let's go on. We have Hecaton Shear Yadel, level 6 Light Illusion, 2100 attack, 1600 defense. You can only use the first and third effect each once per turn. You can reveal this card in your hand, shuffle it into the deck, then add a Hecaton Shear spell trap from your deck to your hand. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Hecaton Shear spell trap in your grave, set it. Similar to this one is also a very strong card, I feel like. Two effects. We've got an add, and we've got a graveyard bonus effect. So that is pretty good start so far. Yeah. -1 combo. I mean, none of this goes -1, right? You just lose the one. You shuffled this in your hand and you get a card back. Nothing here is -1. Hecaton Shear Goddess, level 6 Dark Illusion Effect Monster, 2300 attack, 2000 defense. You can only use the first and third effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a card is added to your opponent's hand, except during the draw phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. Ooh, hand trap? If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Okay. Now, hear me out. Now, it doesn't even matter what happens with this archetype, because this card is good. This is just a good card. Like, this is just a good card that you're gonna see, depending on the format. Of course, not every single format this card is gonna be good in, because it basically it requires two things to be good, right? Your opponent needs to be playing a deck that searches cards pretty consistently, which, I mean, to be fair, most Yu-Gi-Oh decks do that. So I wouldn't worry too much about this card being live in most matchups, but it's like, they're going to have to trigger this first, and then they have to do something in their graveyard that you want to disrupt, right? So, like, it's only good against a deck that does both of those things, and also in that order, right? Like, it's if this hand trap is in the format, then people could be doing the important graveyard stuff maybe first, or so on and so forth. This has outplay potential because it doesn't happen at the same time. It doesn't happen immediately, right? Like, your opponent is adding, then you have to special summon it immediately, because that is the condition to trigger this. And then your opponent knows it's there. They see it, right? They look at it and they're like, okay, cool. Now this has the opportunity to steal something from my graveyard, so I might be able to deal with that or play around it or so on and so forth. Still, all that being said, this is a really good card still, because it's very easy to special summon on your opponent's turn. And you not only do you disrupt their graveyard, but you get the body onto your side of the field. So you just potentially start your turn with two bodies on the field already, And you don't even negate the effects of what you steal. So if you're playing, let's say you're playing a mirror match, you can just take a monster and use the effect, right? Like you can take the monster and use the effect instantly. So this is a very, very strong card, completely independent of the archetype. So far, we've just seen 2 consistency cards, basically. Like these 2 are more like engine starters. And then we see this one, which, so I don't even know how good this archetype as a whole is or what this deck is even trying to do. But like this card is very strong and will definitely have applications. Like you're not going to play this in every single format. It's not like that level of broken. But it's like it's a pretty good, it's kind of like Bastille level, I feel like. This card is kind of Bastille level, I think. Sometimes better, sometimes worse, of course, depending on what deck you're playing against. Sometimes you would rather have a Bastille, sometimes you would rather have this, but like it's a very, very good card. Okay. Hecaton Share Gygus, level 7 Dark Illusion. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If a card is added to your opponent's hand, except... Oh, they got more of those? Okay. Special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. You can special an excavated monster. Also shuffle the rest back into the deck. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Okay, this one's not a quick effect. So this is no disruption at all. But we see another common theme here that continues with these cards, and that is that new archetypes in the later half of 2025 have more opportunities to create a board presence already on the opponent's first turn, which seems to be at least somewhat part of the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! In order to make the first turn more interactive and like in order to make going first less relevant, we see more archetypes that have the ability to do certain things when the opponent goes first. And this seems to be another one of those. This one in particular does not strike me as particularly good because I feel like it just doesn't do enough, because drawing this card is only good when you're going second, and going first, it's a very rough card to draw. And I mean, this one kind of is too, but this one is at least a disruption on the opponent's turn, whereas this one isn't. But okay. It punishes Molcharmies. It is good against Molcharmies. The problem is that it also gives the Molcharmies more draws, right? So like, yes, if your opponent uses like, because how is Fuva worded? Because if your opponent activates Molcharmy Fuvalos and you summon a monster from their deck, does that give them a draw? Or not? Oh, let me actually check that. Molcharmy. I actually don't know this because it's never happened. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck. No, I think they draw. I think they draw. The way this is worded, I would think they draw, because it says each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck. So they do draw. I think you wouldn't draw if it said from their deck, but it says the deck. So like, no matter, I mean, unless it's Molcharmy Meowls, right? But like, if they use Fuva or Perulia, they always get another draw for this. Like, if they use Perulia, they draw a card for you summoning this one. And if they use Fuva, they draw a card for you summoning from the deck. So I wouldn't call this a Molcharmy counter at all. Yes, the Molcharmies let you summon it, but it's not really a counter. Next up, we've got Hecaton Share Breus, I don't know. Level 7 Dark, 2800. You can only use the first and second effect each once per turn. If a card is added to your opponent's hand outside the draw phase, yeah. During your main phase, you can look at a random card in your opponent's hand, and if it's a monster, you can special summon it to your field. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by a battle. Okay. So far, the theme of this archetype, I mean, the first two, let me ignore the first two in terms of the theme, because the first two here are just consistency cards, right? Like, you've got two very high quality consistency cards for the archetype, and then you've got like the main deck boss monsters, let's call them that, right? And they all seem to interact with taking cards from your opponent and then doing stuff with it. I would even assume that the fusions probably do something related to this. It kind of reminds me of a combination of Mimighoul Charm with Kashtira, right? But instead, like it's like worse Kashtira, but it's also healthier Kashtira, if that makes sense, because it's worse because you're not banishing face down, but that's also why it's healthier. Like a healthier Kashtira is, or fairer Kashtira is like actually kind of cool. Because I do think in Yu-Gi-Oh, when you make cards about like taking away key resources from your opponent, I think that's a cool way to win games sometimes. But it's not cool when you just banish them face down, because that leaves your opponent with like no realistic way of getting them back, right? Like if you steal an important card with this one from the top of their deck, it goes onto your side of the field, which means they might have ways to get it back. When you banish it face down with Kashtira Ogre, then you don't really have a way to get it back, right? So I just don't, I mean, let me finish reading the cards, but so far, just from the main deck cards, I can't really grasp a game plan from this. Hecaton Share Jawza, level 8 Light Illusion fusion monster. It needs 1 Hecaton Share and an illusion. By the way, sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say it. Must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by attributing an illusion monster and a face-up monster you control owned by your opponent. There we go. Okay. I like this. I like when the fusion monsters synergize with the way the deck plays. I think that's cool. You can only use the first effect once per turn. During your main phase, you can add any Hecaton Share card from deck or grave to your hand. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. Okay. This is more like an extender, if anything, right? You just summon it to get more cards out of your deck. Then we have Hecaton Share Xeno. Level 9, it needs 3 Hecaton Shares. You can only use the first and third effect once per turn each. During the main phase, quick effect, look at 2 random face-down cards in your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, special summon one of them to your field. Okay, so this one is Mimic Ghoul Charm, basically, right? Or Kashtira Unicorn, depending on how you look at it, right? Looking at 2 random ones and getting 1 is like much worse than Kashtira Unicorn. The chances still are you're probably going to hit something useful if you can look at 2. It is not negated, so you do get potentially a boss monster from it. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed. If this fusion summon card is destroyed by a card effect, you can take control of any number of monsters they control. Okay. This is, I feel like, I would call this a strong payoff. However, this one does not have the alternate summoning condition, right? This one just has to be hard fused, which is kind of annoying, which makes it a lot harder to make, depending on what fusion spell they have. Let's see. So this is a quick play spell, Hecaton Share Tartarus, quick play spell card. Activate one of these effects, but you can only choose each effect once per turn. If you control a Hecaton Share, target a spell trap, return it to the hand, or fusion summon a fusion from your extra deck by banishing its material from field or grave. Okay, it does fusion. It's like a miracle. It's like a quick play miracle fusion. That's not bad. If you use face-up monsters you control owned by your opponent, you can treat them as Hecaton Shares. Okay. This lets you banish the monsters you steal from your opponent. Not a bad fusion spell, I would say. Could be better, of course. We've seen better fusion spells in the past, but not a bad one. And then we have 2 counter traps, which is Ipt Al Hecaton Share. Counter trap, you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect and you control a Hecaton Share monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster, then you can special summon it to your field. Okay, that is a powerful version of Solemn Strike. That's like Solemn Strike, but no life points cost, and you play around graveyard effects because you just take their monster. That is a good counter trap. Of course, counter traps kind of need you to go first for them to actually be good, but that is very strong as a counter trap. And then we have, they are kind of like, this is like it's like they kind of are symmetric, right? You have like the one with the wing on the left side, the wing on the right side, and the same thing on the trap card here, which is Yad Al Hecaton Share. Counter trap, you can only activate 1 when your opponent activates a spell trap and you control a Hecaton Share. Negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then you can set it to your field. Okay. Same thing. For spell traps, it's not that relevant that they don't get the graveyard effect, but if it's like a generic card, you get to use it yourself, which could be pretty powerful. Of course, if it's like a If it's a quick play spell or a trap, you have to wait a turn to use it. But you know, if you steal like, I don't know, talents or stuff like that, imperm, it's not bad that you can get these cards. And that's it. The rest is reprints. Whew. I am not sure how to feel about this, because I feel like on the one hand, I'm struggling to see an immediate game plan with this. I think calling it garbage is pretty dumb. I think there's clearly some high quality cards here, even though they might not be like completely playable right off the bat. Like, we're kind of used to that at this point, right? Like for the last couple of sets, deck build packs rather, some of them have been playable right out of the gate, which has been pretty good. This one I feel like is lacking a little bit, simply because I feel like the disappointment is in these two. I feel like the Gigas and the Breus needed to be a little bit better for me to see a real game plan here. Because what's the plan? Okay, let's think about this. Let's think about this from modern Yu-Gi-Oh brain. Activate E-Bell, 1-card combo. Activate E-Bell, special summon Gigas from the deck. Activate Gigas effect, excavate the top 3 cards for your opponent, and then take one of them to your field. Preferably an important, let's say an important one-off, right? Like, let's say we take a cool one-off out of our opponent's top 3 cards with the Gigas, right? And then we can fuse into this by distributing them both, which will get them the card to the graveyard. So depending on what card we're hitting, that could actually not be bad for them. Then we use this to add any Hecaton Share card from deck or grave to hand, which lets us add either this one to be a hand trap, or we can get this one to get one of the traps. It's not terrible. It just feels like it's lacking something at this point. Like, I don't think it's like strong enough. Is my first impression. However, I do feel like it's the kind of archetype that with the right support, like, could easily be very strong. Because like for the most part, these cards aren't bad, I think. Especially the first two I read were really strong. And then this one, I feel like this card deserves its own category, right? Because it's not even, it doesn't matter what happens to this archetype, right? This card is just strong. It does not matter if this archetype completely flops, which it could. I'm gonna say it right now, if they don't make more good cards for this archetype, I don't think it's strong enough. But even if that's the case, even if this archetype never sees meta play, this card is kind of strong. This card is kind of like a new Bestial, but slightly different, right? Like, it's like in some matchups it's going to be better than a Bestial, in some matchups it's going to be worse. Because imagine this against like Mermail, right? Like this is actually a hand trap against Mermail. Like, it's not bad because you can steal like a Dragoons when they send it for cost. You can't do that with a Bestial. There's going to be some matchups where this card goes incredibly hard, where a Bestial is not as useful. And instead of being like, this is where normally when Bestials aren't good, but you want grave interaction, that's where people play like cards like Bell or DD Crow, which are usually playable in those matchups. Like DD Crow, for example, is like strong against, somewhat strong against Mermail. It's like, all right. But the main thing with DD Crow is that like, it's just a -1, right? Like, you're just like -1ing on the DD Crow by interrupting Mermail. This one, instead of going -1, you go +1. So it's a difference of 2 cards. Instead of just discarding a card from your hand, you get this on your field, and you get the one that you take is also on your field, right? So I think this is a very, very good card, no matter what. So that's, if nothing else happens with this archetype, then this is still a really strong generic card that's going to see play for sure at some point. Okay. Now, let me check real quick if the stream has started, because it should by now. They are live. Ah, okay. There's a timer running, so we got a little bit of time left. So we can take a look at another card. It is from a different set. It's not in the deck build pack. It is from Doom of Dimension, and I think it's just one equip spell card. which makes sense. It is technically a generic equip spell, but it makes sense because in Doom of Dimension we get Doom Z, which is an archetype that obviously is related to equip spells. So maybe you'll put this card in there. So it's called Tragic Twin Threads. Equip only to your monster that is special summoned from the extra deck. If your opponent special summons a monster with higher attack than the equipped monster from the extra deck, you can target one of them, destroy it, also the equipped monster, and if you do, you take damage equal to the destroyed monster's total original attack, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. Okay. It's more for Mikanko, there's 0 attack. I mean, yeah, but there's only one Mikanko that you special summon from the extra deck, right? And that's the one that you just use to kill going second. That's ring but bad. What, like Angelica's ring? I mean, like it's meant to be an end board piece, right? You're just meant to slap it onto like a small extra deck monster, and then when your opponent tries to out it with a bigger extra deck monster, that monster gets destroyed, but so does your monster. This seems weak to me. This does not seem like a very good card. Am I missing something? Am I missing something crazy? Because it just feels like you are... It just feels like you're destroying your monster. I don't know. I mean, maybe if because it's an equip spell, there's some implications here, because I think the quality of the card is not great. But maybe if you're playing a deck that has very easy access to equip spells, like depending on future Doom Z support, maybe they really want like a couple of equip spells that they can all get for free, and then you know, maybe that's gonna be worth if you get it for free, but I don't know. Because yeah, the Doom Zs do trigger when they get destroyed, right? So maybe you don't even care about losing your own monster because it actually triggers. At the same time, I think the Doom Z extra deck stuff is not small, so it would take quite something to summon something bigger than it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not too convinced by this card. Nothing too crazy here.